Hello everyone. Welcome back to Fableborne Team AMA. Yay! This is our second one. Uh, as probably you guys know, we're very excited to be back and introduce you guys to our team and dive deeper into each topic in Fableborne. And today we have our amazing Fableborne art team joining us, Stephen and Marinthe, and they will answer some of the burning questions from you all, our wonderful community. And this time, the topic is specific about Fableborn art direction and player experience. Nice. I see some people are start joining. Great, great. Okay, maybe we can kick off with a quick intro. I can start as always. My name is Jaula or Lakava777 in Discord. You guys know me as the brand manager of Fableborn, and I will be your host and moderator today. And I pass the word to my teammate Lucas.
Hey everyone, so you might know me already. I'm Lucas, I'm the communications manager for Fableborn, and I'm the annoying person who pings everyone in this Discord server. So you probably know me quite well now. But yeah, I'm super excited to have the guys here and to learn a little bit more about the art in Fableborn, and I'll just hand it over both of them. So either of you feel free to pick and start introducing yourself.
Cool. Yeah, I'll jump in first. Hey everyone, my name's Stephen. I'm the art producer and technical artist here at Pixion, working on the Fableborn project. So my role is really to make sure we can deliver on all the areas of the art, just to really bring the best visual experience possible. I also help with setting and maintaining a consistent feel across the art, along with our amazing artists that we also have.
I'm Marinthe, and you'll probably have seen me post some photos of my dog on Discord already. I am obsessed with her. I am in the Fableborn team as the UX and UI artist, so making sure that everyone has a good user experience and that the user interface is nice and clear and also conveys the style that we want it to.
Cool. Thanks, guys. All right. So maybe before we start digging into each questions, we can share a bit on how we want to do this AMA. So a couple of days ago, we start gathering questions from you guys, and we receive a lot of great questions. But however, for today, we can only pick five to be answered live. But we will also give you guys a chance to ask a question directly in the end of the sessions. You can, as I mentioned before, you can raise your hand. We will unmute your speaker so you can speak and ask your question live. Or if you're shy, you can also type your questions in the chat box in the Ask Us Anything channel. All right. Okay, so let's dig in. So we start with the first questions. Maybe, yeah, before we dig into the community questions, we'll run through a couple of general ones. Stephen and Marinthe, obviously you guys already gave a quick intro to us, but we want to know how you guys got into a game art design. Like, how
Hmm.
did you end up here?
Cool. Yeah, I'll go first. So it's difficult actually to kind of like condense this all down into like a short summary, but I'll do my best. Okay, so I guess I started playing games, I guess probably like everyone else, very early. Things like World of Warcraft or RuneScape, Guild Wars, these kind of multiplayer games with these big immersive worlds. And then as I kind of sort of slowly transitioned into more kind of like competitive games like Dota and Hearthstone, things like that, where I really enjoyed the kind of like thrill of outsmarting other players. Um, yeah, and then as I kind of started to get a bit older, I didn't have as much time to put into things like Dota. And I started to really see the value of mobile games where you could jump in and have these really short kind of sessions where you play for maybe 15 minutes, but you play 10 games and you feel like amazing because you've had all these exciting action sessions. Um, so then, sort of all the way through these different kind of game journeys, I guess you'd call it, the thing that was always there for me was I've always been so obsessed with art, and I knew from a very early age that I wanted to get into actually being part of game teams and making art professionally. So if we kind of zip forward to after university, I was given the opportunity to work for a mobile game studio as a 3D generalist. And sort of by coincidence, I had a task to just go in and lay something out inside of Unity, the game engine that we're using. Um, and I fell in love completely. It sparked like a absolute obsession and learning as much as I physically could about Unity, and getting into coding as well, and sort of bringing that kind of technical side into my artwork, and kind of going through things like VFX and cool animations, and really bringing like lots of life and juice to games. And it's something that even now I'm super obsessed with. Um, yeah, and then that kind of led me to Pixion. So I've been kind of doing that at Pixion for a good number of years. And then recently I kind of started getting into the world of production, so actually trying to see how we can deliver on these like really big scale artistic visions, and bring it to life, and how do we plan and organize it and actually make it possible. And yeah, it's super satisfying. And yeah, that's what led me to this call.
That's awesome. Yeah, everyone else who doesn't play Dota, right? So yeah, pretty similar journey. Obsessive as obsessive as a kid, and then lead into a professional journey. That's something very relatable. Yeah. What about you, Marinde? Tell us your journey.
Oh, less gaming than Steven, surprisingly. And I think the main game that I played as a kind of like as a teenager was Maple Story, which was like a massive MMORPG. Um, and it kind of introduced me to just animation and computer stuff, and I knew that from like then on, that's what I wanted to go into. So to study some sort of computer art, computer animation, learn more about that, how to be creative, but also have like some sort of a technical understanding. And that's basically, I just, from the age of like 10, drove myself to do that at university. And then I luckily got to join a kind of startup game studio, which was really cool because I think when I was in university, it was very film focused, but I knew that I didn't want to do like a repetitive thing. I didn't want to like specialize in something. I wanted to create something that was immersive and people could actually like control kind of like their journey in it. And I wasn't just doing like the same work every day as well. Like you're learning as you work in games. And I think that's something that I really, really love about this industry. Um, and then I joined Pixion, which is super exciting. I joined as a generalist artist, so doing something new every day. And this, like, as a Fableborn, I kind of started to specialize into user experience and user imp interactions. And I think that's really cool because it's another side of game art where you're having to understand like how does the player actually interact with this, and what are their emotions as they go through this game, which is really fun and exciting. So yeah, that's basically how I got into it.
Nice.
Awesome, and I think that's also a good segue into the next question. I think art is just not only the visuals; there is much more to it. Um, we recently had a blog post released about the art direction in Fableborn, and maybe Stephen, maybe you can start giving us a small overview of the evolution of the art direction in the game.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff. So absolutely. So we started with the prototype, which maybe some people have seen some images of. The style was a lot more chibi, so much smaller bodies, much bigger heads, very emotive, but also a lot simpler. It's much easier to kind of turn that kind of stuff around. But we kind of realized as the ambition of the project grew, and we knew we wanted to build out this really big world and have these kind of intricate backstories, all the characters linking together. We kind of felt that style didn't really allow us to really dig in to all these things that we wanted to show in the game. So we decided to basically just start from the ground up, uh, do a ton of research, figure out exactly as a team what we wanted to build in terms of the visuals, and yeah, we went through many iterations of kind of going from that very chibi style all the way up to something that we kind of call like this sort of uh, it's like kind of stylized realism. Yeah, is what we call it. Um, and yeah, there was lots of like in between stages where we were looking at maybe some slightly more hardcore games, some slightly more mid-core games, and we kind of bounced around to styles more realistic and sort of slightly less stylized than the one that we actually we're stuck with. But yeah, we're super happy with the current position, and yeah, very, very proud of everything we achieved with it in the short period of time that we had to do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, as a part of the team as well, to see the revolution, the evolution, the revolution, the evolution from the previous art style into the current art style, it's just mind blowing. Like that's actually lead us to the next question. This question's being asked multiple times actually by our community. We all know, we all want to know, where did you guys take the inspiration of the current art style?
Yeah, I think there's I'll answer it from like UI perspective because I think there's different kind of inspirations for the UI arts versus the like world art. So Stephen will answer that one. But for the UI, I mean, we knew that we wanted to create kind of a magical fantasy world, and I really wanted the UI to convey that as much as possible while still being clean and readable. So I think like a lot of the games that I took inspiration from a reference were games like Team Fight Tactics, AFK Arena, Planet of Heroes, Art of Conquest, and Portal Kingdoms, kind of a big variety. Um, and it was just kind of seeing like, how far do we take it? Like, do we take it super realistic, or do we want to have it like super kind of flat and stylized? And then I think, like Steven said, we kind of got this middle ground of stylized realism, and I really wanted to kind of get the UI to be matching that and in the middle, so the whole kind of game feels cohesive as one. Like nothing pops out, or like none of the UI feels really like horrible and distracting, basically. So yeah, those games kind of inspired me to create something that was like stylized realistic as well.
Awesome. And then yeah, from that kind of more general kind of art style, as I mentioned before, when we were rethinking everything, we ended up doing this massive kind of mood board of research of all these different games. We're looking at things like maybe on the more hardcore side, like Diablo, or even Path of Exile, Genshin Impact, Darksiders Genesis as well was another one, especially for the environments. We knew that with the sort of narrative direction we were going, that things might be taking a little bit of like a slightly darker turn. So, but we really wanted to make sure that with the environment and everything, that we were still bringing this nice light kind of appealing vibe to it that didn't feel too dark and grungy. So we really made sure that we had enough references on that side of things. And then yeah, we're looking at also mobile stuff. So there's Wild Rift, which is just like the gold standard of visuals for mobile, like very, very good. So it was massive inspiration. Arena of Valor, another really good one. Like these have such nice aesthetics that are again realistic, but not completely realistic. They have that edge of stylizedness to them. Um, and yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, there's lots of other ones I can talk about, but those are the main ones I'd say.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense, and I think it's maybe a good segue into the next question, because I feel that our art style is still quite realistic, but not so realistic that it's unplayable on mobile devices. I think that's always the fine balance to strike as well. Um, so our next question is, what can players expect when it comes to visual experience in general?
Oh, I can answer this for UI UX again. Um, I mean, I think the visual experience, like as a whole, we want the players, like I said before, to be kind of engulfed in this fantasy experience. Like we want, when they open the Fableborne game, we want them to immediately feel like, oh, they're in this other world, this other realm where they can just really feel like, okay, you know, that's fantasy magic, or like anything is possible, basically. Like it's not reality. Um, So for that, like especially about accessibility, like we wanted everyone to be able to feel that. Again, from like a UI perspective, this is super crucial because we didn't want anyone to feel left out or like, oh, they're in this other world. Like anything is possible, basically. Like it's not reality. So for that, like especially about accessibility, like we wanted everyone to be able to feel that. Again, from like a UI perspective, this is super crucial because we didn't want anyone to feel left out or to think like, oh, I can't see what's happening. So everything that we create, we also test for color blindness. We make sure that the contrasts work. I think Stephen's going to explain that in a little bit, especially for the visual effects. But we really wanted to have a really clear kind of eye pool. So you'll notice that the UI sits quite forefront, but it's not invasive. It's not jarring to the eyes. And hopefully everyone can, like, it's a very kind of clear made, clean aesthetic as well, while still being that stylistic realism. In terms of like usability as well, we wanted to make sure that we really think about like hand positioning for the game. We wanted to make sure that it's comfortable for players to play. Like you're going to be able to do like a whole lot of things in the game, and we want each aspect of that to be comfortable and just really fluid and happy for the player to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah. In
definitely.
terms of like the VFX, I think Stephen, you can explain like in terms of the rating and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I mean, as you mentioned, accessibility, and it's like such an important part of designing a game, and it's something that we did consider from the beginning because we had these two big problems really with it. Is like we're developing for mobile, which is a very small screen, and also we're developing a sort of action game where lots happens very quickly. So those are two big problems, especially with making sure the player has all the information at the right time and they can clearly understand where they went wrong so they can improve. And not having that feedback is detrimental, I'd say, to games. So a couple of the ways that we solve that. One of them is with this thing which is like visual hierarchy. So we take all the elements of the game and we break it down. So we've got environments. So everything that sits on top of an environment really needs to pop, which means the environment needs to be made in a specific way. Then you've got the heroes and buildings that sit on top of that environment, and they need to communicate just by looking. What do they do? What's their function? Are they dangerous? Can I stand here? Those things like my character. Can he take a few hits, or am I super squishy? Am I gonna get killed really, really fast? All these things that you need to just instantly be able to read when playing and not have to think too much about. And then on top of that, as Richard was mentioning, the VFX, that's possibly the most important part because this is now in the moment, something's happening, something's coming at you, or you need to move and you need to know ahead of time so that you can react. And that's where the skill comes in really. It's being able to react quick enough to these things. And it's our job to really make sure that these things are super obvious. Um, Oh man, there's so much more I could talk about with this, but maybe just mention shape language as well. So I kind of briefly touched on it with the hero. So yeah, like it's certain characters if they are a particular set, so if they're like heavy or if they're medium or light, we need to make sure that this is really readable through the shape language. So people that are super strong, they're usually a bit more like a triangle shape. People who are a bit less strong, maybe they're a bit more of like a kind of rectangle, or maybe they're more rounded, and yeah, so all these really interesting decisions you have to make when creating this world, and it's challenging, but it's really good fun and very important to get right.
That's amazing. Like, I mean, I'm part of the team, but I thought it's all about like pretty pictures, handsome characters, cute, yeah, cute characters. But actually, there's a lot of things being like thought process behind these characters and the world of Shatterlands. So awesome. Maybe we can start with our first community questions from One Kid. Hello, One Kid. So the question from One Kid is, what was the part of the design and conceptualization that the team find it the most hard to bring to life? And what tools do you use to bring the characters and the world to life? This is actually two questions. You
Mm.
should ask just one question, but yeah, it's a really good one. So, who
Cool, yeah.
wanna take this question?
Yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, yeah. So I'd say definitely for us, and I think probably it's true for most games. It's the characters really. They're the part of the game that the player is gonna really fall in love with or create these bonds with, and it's really important from our perspective that we create heroes in a way which allows that, and we really take into consideration their personalities and their quirks, and we make sure that that's visible on the character, and also just having a range of different characters as well, just to kind of bring that out in multiple ways. In terms of what tools we use, So for anything kind of 2D, we either use Photoshop or Illustrator. So that's like all the concepts in the UI. For 3D and animations, we use Autodesk Maya, and then we bring it all together inside of Unity.
Awesome. And just as a side note, we do have Adobe licenses.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
That is the bane of the artist existence. Cool. So I have another question from the community. This one is from Faros, and it goes back to the inspirational part. So what inspired you to do the characters, the creation? What inspired you to do the creation of the characters and the surrounding world? Maybe you can just give us a little bit of background about how we create our characters and maybe give us a little bit of insight.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the creation of the characters really starts at knowing who that character is going to be. So we want to kind of have, okay, what is like their background story? Who are they as a person? Like Steven said about the shape language, like is this a really strong burly guy? That kind of drives what shape he's going to be, or how we want him to appear to the player, or is it going to be kind of like a mage who attacks from afar? It doesn't have to be like super physically strong, but maybe they still visually need to look like impressive, like you don't want to mess with them. I think one of the first characters that we made was our ice mage, and I think one of the big things that drove us was just figuring out like, okay, we didn't want to like overly sexualize our first female character. And think about, okay, she's an ice mage. Like, where can we draw inspiration from the real world and also like put it in the game and like make it a bit more fantasy? So we really took inspiration from kind of like native tribes, and also like she's gonna be cold, so having some types of like furs, or like having something that makes her seem like she really harnesses this power of ice but doesn't look vulnerable. For all the other characters as well, like Steven said, I mean, we really want to take a inspiration from like a really wide group. Like we really want to make this an inclusive game. Like we want players to be able to see like a character that they can actually like connect with. They're like, hey, that looks like me, or like that just evokes like a really good emotion in them. So you'll see like a lot of the characters have their own kind of backgrounds and narratives, and none of them really look generic or like each other, which I think is fantastic. Yeah, we really just wanted the game and the characters to be for everyone to play the game, and not just like a small minority, or not of like what people just expect like RPG heroes to look like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. I love the idea of having this female character in game that doesn't have to be being, sexualized, but still
Mm.
very, very independent, strong woman like we are. And yeah, it's very cool to see that character come to life pretty, really soon. Very excited to see everyone to bring it to life also to everyone here.
Yeah.
I don't know, Stephen,
All
did you
right.
want to
Yeah.
mention something
You
about
wanna? Yeah.
surrounding?
Say
We
again?
didn't really touch on the surrounding world aspect, but did you have like a similar thing for the environments, or
Um, I think what you said was yeah, that's great.
similar?
Yeah, yeah,
It's the whole mood.
yeah.
It's yeah, yeah. Cool. All right. Let's go to the next question then. Community question from Winan. So Winan asks us, could you elaborate more on why the previous art direction was no longer the best option for your target audience, and what changed that led to that realization or decisions? Very
Mm,
smart question.
yeah, good question. Um, I think like Stephen mentioned, when we started working on the project, it was very kind of chippy, and everything was very bright and very kind of bubbly and soft and happy. And we noticed quite quickly that as we made the move into Web3, that we wanted to kind of push the boundaries a little bit more. And we wanted to see like what as like a team are we capable of doing, and you know, what can we create that's so incredible for players to play and like really inspiring. And I think the move into stylistic realism like really works for that. It really works for the fantasy feeling that we're trying to create. It works for not like a childish target audience. Like the target audience, I think now really matches that style. Before it wasn't like super clear whether this was for like older, well, adults, or whether this was like a kids game. So this move really kind of helped to solidify that. Um, and I think that was just the main thing, like realizing and creating clarity within our game of like, okay, we want to push the boundaries a bit, and we want to create this like fantasy feeling for like non-kids, basically.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Maybe
really
that
clear.
makes sense.
I think it also makes sense in terms of, Fableborne is a competitive game in the end, right? So we have a lot of competitive aspects. So it doesn't make sense really to use a super chibi style for that.
Yeah.
So I think the choice, like I think everyone can agree that the choice was really good to switch the art style, and we just see to pay it off. And I can remember when I joined the team, like we were just in the midst of just changing the art style. And I came in, I played our prototype, and then I was super amazed about the change in art style and how quickly you guys were able to pull that off. And it's just that it's still amazing to me.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, moving on. I'll keep my amazement low, and then we go forward with the next question. So the next question is a long one, so bear with me. It comes from Luke Skywalker, so hello there. In the article, you talked about the different elemental biomes and how they would all have certain traits pertaining to their element. My question is, if all the islands have the same shape and size, will these elemental features, such as lava spilling out of fissures in the ground, be in the same location for every island? Will these features be like a skin, where they are always in the same place for everyone, or will features be in randomized locations to vary the islands that exist? So that if you came across to fire and earth islands, they wouldn't look the exact same.
Okay, yeah, I can take that one. So I guess just to start on that one, in the current kind of design, the idea is that islands they won't be the same shape and size, so we can have multiple different variants. And we're actually been building this amazing system in-house, which I won't talk a huge amount on because I'm assuming we'll do an Ask Me Anything on like the dev side of things at some point. But yeah, we have this like island generation system which allows us to basically just create a massive amount of variants on each island, and not just visually, but also these kind of more kind of elements as you mentioned, like so actually those zones of different for the different biomes, they might be in different places, and on some islands that might mean it's a much better island, and maybe that position is yeah, you can actually do more with the strategy on certain islands than you can on the others, which means potentially that's different rarities in that, just from that aspect. So, yeah, both from a visual standpoint and also from an actual gameplay standpoint, islands and biomes will all be, quite different from one another.
Yeah. Especially like the element zone stuff. Um, was really important for the gameplay because it affects a lot of things in the game. Like you didn't want to just end up with all of the elements on one island. Like you can use them for upgrading stuff. Like heroes are connected to elements. Your islands, like Steven said, are connected in island to elements. So like Steven said, we really wanted it to be varied, and we wanted to keep it fun for people who are raiding, but also people who are building. Like there's a
Mm.
tactical view on that. Like you needed to, if you're building, you want to think about like, okay, like I have a water-based island. Like, how is that going to affect people who come and raid me? How can I use specific buildings to protect my base better with this element connected to it? But then on the flip side for raiding, if you're going against like a fire island, what heroes do you have that are better against this element? And I think it's bringing those tactics into the game, which are really important too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so that's like a really, really long question from Luke Skywalker. We need a little break from that. We have the next question from Freddy. This is probably the question of the century. Are you guys ready? So, pizza with ananas or pineapple? Yes or no? Take your ground.
Yeah.
Marinthe, Stephen.
Yes.
I'm a no, unfortunately, on that one.
No. Yes, definitely no. I'm on your side, Steven. It's a sin. It shouldn't be. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it's not
No.
acceptable.
Sweet, salty, like the best combination.
I'm not
Yeah,
convinced.
no. No. Sorry, I need to intervene. Of course, there needs to be pineapple on pizza. Like that's the core essential.
What is this? No way. Yeah. Well, we need a judge on this. So you guys, if you have a different opinion from us, feel free to drop your, answer into the general chat. Pizza with pineapple, yes or no? And we'll see who's the winner on this. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Freddie, for your question. That was really a good one. Question of the
Okay.
century, indeed.
Okay, let's spice it up maybe a little bit. So,
Mm-hmm.
the side that wins the argument, everyone is getting 200 Esper coin. Let's go.
Oh, now we're talking.
Nice.
Okay. As per coin, guys. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. We have a lot of Italian community here, so you guys,
Yeah, I'm
please,
scared.
please, yeah, please vote no. Yeah.
Oh, true. We lost a few
Yeah.
community members now. Oh
You guys
no.
ready? All
Cool.
right.
So we,
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You want to say something?
no, I just wanted to say, like, feel free to drop your answer, like in the
Yes.
general chat while we're talking.
Okay, so yeah, that was a lot of questions again about the art design. Again, we're actually really myself. I'm speaking for myself. Really blown away by these questions because it's so cool to see that everyone are pretty excited as we are as well to see Fableborne to life. Now let's again cool down a little bit after the pizza dispute. We have a coffee chit chat. We have some questions. It's a non-art direction related, but it's mandatory. So we asked this question previously on our team AMA, and we had a lot of fun with it. So, Steven and Marinde, if you have a superpower, what would it be? Please answer truthfully from your heart.
For me, I think I'd probably say like telekinesis. So, ability to move objects with my mind. I think that'd be pretty useful.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, Stranger
11.
Things.
Yeah,
Yes,
Colonia.
yes.
Yeah.
What would you take? Like, what would you move from one set to another set? Like, couldn't you do it yourself or something?
Yeah, I could, but I could be sat down, open the fridge, pull out something, don't have to move.
So lazy.
Yeah, but that's what it's there for. So yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I'd probably do some good with it as well. Like I do other good stuff, but like that would be one of the small things I would do with it. Yeah.
Not just like a wasted superpower.
Yeah, no,
You
I'd
see something
save
bad happening
save
I
and
know,
you're like,
right?
people
It's
oh,
and
such a
just get
wasted
myself
yeah,
one.
no, no, yeah. I'd say people do good deeds, but then when I'm chilling out, I would just do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What about
I
you,
don't think
Marinde?
um I don't think mine would actually help with good deeds for people, but I would talk to animals. I think that would be
Oh,
pretty cool. Um, Mostly just so that I could talk to my dog, which sounds really lonely. Yeah, it would be cool to like know what she thinks. And it would just
what
be
would you
cool to
say? I
like,
mean, what would you communicate? Like, hey,
what would I say to her?
yeah, what would you say to her? Like,
I mean, I think that she already understands me. I don't understand her, that's the issue. Like, I would probably just ask her what she wants. What do you want? What can I buy you to make you happy?
Oh, you don't wanna know the answer. Like, I want this, I want that. Take me walk like 5 times a day. Don't do work.
Yeah,
Play with me.
exactly. Although I feel like she would just reply like, "Leave me alone." That would be the main thing. No,
Interesting,
I think it would
interesting.
just be cool. It would be cool to, you know, and to talk to other animals. I guess I could like, you know, try and do something good for other people through communicating with animals. But
And
more of a personal one.
in the end, you just find out they're just cursing all the time and they hate everything and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much probably gonna happen. You realize that, not all of our dogs loves us. They just
Yeah.
being friendly.
Oh man,
And
sad.
then, like, imagine listening all the cockroaches. Imagine listening to all the rats that, coming to your house. That, like,
No,
pretty
I'd have
terrible.
to be able to block, like I'd have to be able to look and at the animal to decide to talk to it. Like
Oh,
I don't want to
okay.
listen to mosquitoes or like spiders.
Wow,
Listening
isn't
to
that
spiders.
but isn't that animalist almost? Like that's
No, only if I want
that's
to.
rude.
Like if a mosquito lands
I
on
know,
me,
right?
I'll like
Like,
look at it
all
and I'll be
animals are
like,
the
"What are you
same.
doing?" No, I would like choose to talk to it, but otherwise, no.
That's very rude for a vegan, just saying.
Wow. I mean, I
Actually, I never.
decided to communicate, but
Yeah,
just like humans, right? You don't have to talk to everyone.
yeah, that's true. Choose your friends. Exactly. Yeah, but I actually never asked you this, Lucas. But we talk so much on a daily basis. But I don't know what superpower you want. I need to know
Hmm.
this. Yeah, I need to know
Hmm.
this.
Okay, let me think. Let me think. What would it be? Um, Possibly mind reading, but I was just thinking about if I could mind read just to like literally conquer everything and just like rule the world. I should just choose like mind control instead. Probably
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
easier.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
fewer
Yeah.
steps.
Professor
Yeah.
X, Professor X stuff. Yeah,
You
I
could
mean,
you
so
could
dark.
control Steven's mind and get him to move things.
I'm sure probably just the Austrian speaking on my end, but
Yeah, it's more efficient for total domination.
Yeah, like control Steven's mind.
Yeah.
Steven, get me some beer. Steven, got
Yeah.
me some pizza with ananas. Yeah.
But that's the dream.
Nice.
All right. Okay, so pretty cool superpowers, I'd say, but I don't know whether that's pretty useful. That's another question. For our community to answer. Is that a really useful superpower? I don't know. I don't know. Why don't we move to another questions, another spicy question. So, if you guys can do absolutely anything, what would your last day on Earth looks like? So you can do anything. There is no money limitation to be anywhere with anyone. What would your last day on Earth look like?
Whew, it's a heavy one. Uh,
Yeah.
Just think that,
yeah.
okay, tomorrow I'll be dying. I'm dying.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
what would you like to do on your last day?
Probably, yeah, I'd probably go into space or something like that. Something crazy. Watch some kind of sunset or sunrise. That's my last
hmm
day.
Stephen, you can go to the beach to watch sunrise. You don't
You
need to go to
can.
the
You can.
space.
I've done that though. I've been there, done that. I need to go the next stage.
Nice, nice, nice. Hop
Mm,
on to the
I would probably,
to Starlink or something.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What
I
about you,
would probably,
Marinthe?
I mean, I would probably just be crying.
No,
Like the whole thing.
please no. Come
Um,
on, you can do anything. You have all the
no,
money in the world,
I
like
think what I
anything.
would do is I would just get all the people together, like all of my friends, family, like everyone that I've ever known in my life, um, and just, talk and have a good time, maybe on the beach or like in some beautiful place. Just, yeah, get super
So basically,
drunk.
summer holiday,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
family summer holiday. Okay.
Oh, it sounds like a nightmare.
Just like lots of people, but like even get like people, that I had as friends as like a child, like when I was a child, but never spoke to again. Just
Mm,
get like everyone that I've ever known in life together and
that's deep.
talk to them. Although
And
half of them will just not like they'll just be like whatever, like grown apart. But it would be
although
cool. It would be cool to like see what everyone has done, before
Yeah.
We're such different
before
people.
the world ends.
Mine was go to space alone, and yours was see
Yeah,
everywhere.
I know, right?
See everyone. Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe I'm just too nosy. Maybe I just want to like know what everyone in my life has been up to, but I think that would be pretty interesting.
no, and then
Yeah.
in reality, you just look like sitting literally in front of the like laptop or PC and just trying to book like flight tickets, and like the
Yeah.
tool is always crashing, and it's like you completely
It
wasted
would,
your time.
yeah. It would have to be planned beforehand.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, in reality, I can also just message these people. Like,
Mm,
I don't need to
yeah,
be
that's a good
dying.
point. Yeah,
But,
exactly.
No, but like imagine no one showing up, like
but
that's a
exactly.
broken heart.
And if
Yeah.
I'm dying anyway, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I can be embarrassing. But if I'm
Uh,
not dying, then I don't want to.
you make me sad, guys. Imagining you guys dying. But yeah, that's wow, yeah, that's really good. Cooling down now. Now, let's get back a little bit into our direction and the player experience questions from our community. If there are any one of you listening right now would like to speak directly, feel free to raise your hand and we'll unmute your speaker. Or if not, then I will choose one question from the our channel, from our channel. Anyone?
If you had a question, you can also, if you want, if you asked the question before and it wasn't answered yet, feel free to also just like raise your hand and then you can just reread your question if you like.
Yep, that works as well. Okay, so let's probably pick one then. There are a lot of interesting one actually. Maybe we can pick two of them. The first one would be this is more general, but also in the same time very really like relatable to all of us here in Pixion Game and Fableborne. So we can share a little bit why, more like a personal reason why we're joining this project. But since our speaker here is Steven and Marinthe, the question would be, why did you guys choose to work for the Fableborn project? This is question from Kreman.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I can go
You guys
first.
want to answer? Yeah,
Yeah, sure,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, lots of reasons. I guess lots of reasons for being at Pixion is the first thing. It's such an incredible team, and it's yeah, just it's a really fun working environment. And then we'll sort of get to learn a lot and try new things and be creative together and supportive. So it's a great studio. But talking more about the Fableborn project, I guess. It's a game that we're making, but in a sense we're sort of making it for ourselves as well. It's a game that we believe in and we love. I mean, I'm sort of talking in generals, but for me, it's a game that I believe in and I love. And I this working on this kind of art style is an absolute dream come true. And really trying to push these things for mobile is something that I find really interesting. Like taking something which for mobile has to be really really like optimized and trying to really push that visual style and quality. It's something that I find very interesting, and sort of all those things together just basically means it's just an amazing opportunity, and I love it.
Yeah, kind of similar to me. Like, I think there's a beauty in just the way that we're creating this project means that there's no day that you're not really like learning something. Like, I think everyone on the team, like it's just amazing to like talk to someone and to learn kind of what they're doing. Like I didn't really know anything about Web3 before I started, and I think it's been really kind of interesting and eye-opening. And I think just that learning process, I think that's fantastic. Like it's so fun to just wake up in the morning and to be like, oh, what am I going to learn today? Or what cool thing am I going to be working on or like doing or how are we going to push the boundaries today? And I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
Great, thanks, guys. That's yeah, very very relatable from my side as well. Like, uh, to be part of this team is absolutely a almost like a dream come true. I
Mm.
love to get my hand dirty, kind of like building things from the scratch, and with absolutely wonderful people like you guys. So yeah, very excited on this journey. I can pick one more questions. Actually, this one's really interesting from Zana Bianca. Hello there. The question is, as soon as the game opens, will we already be catapulted into our islands, or will we have a start menu and we'll be able to choose the game mode? I think it's more like yeah, yeah, UX stuff. So
Yeah,
Marinthe, feel
it's a
free if
good
you want to jump in
question.
here.
It's a great question. I mean, it's I think it depends like when you open the game, like when you first open the game, we'll have to do some sort of tutorial, like show you like how are you going to be building or raiding and some sort of guide as how it all works. But then once you finish that, you'll have a home menu where you can select like, hey, today I want to build my island or like do something a little bit more like tactical in terms of defense. Or you can say, hey, I want to go and attack someone or go into like a dungeon and get money or like loot or rewards. And I think there's the beauty of our game is that, you can choose kind of how you want to play that day, what works for you.
Uh, yeah. Well, I'm actually right now, sorry, like scrolling all of these questions. It's really really yeah, it's really like we have so many options for question here. But probably like there's this one that especially like interests me because it's actually related to the what I'm doing right now. Question from Winan again. When do you plan to release the light paper? Literally counting days, guys. It's coming sooner than you realize. So be prepared and follow all of our updates and announcement. I guess very very soon.
We are sweating extremely to get it out. Let's say
Yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, so yeah, we're pretty excited to show our light people to you guys. Counting days, and we'll update you for the dates in the coming days or weeks. Okay. Anyone else wanted to ask question live? Waiting for anyone? Anyone? Okay, so seems like we're all shy here. So I guess, yeah, I guess that's it then for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up, and don't forget to follow our Twitter, Telegram, sign up to our newsletter, and yeah, I guess I wanted to pass the word to my teammate Lucas here for a quick community updates.
Thank you. So of course we have still Trial of Season running. We do have another really cool returning event next week. So super excited. I think you will like it as well. Um, and in the coming weeks, we want to really involve the community more in terms of what we do, and we really start showcasing much more than before. We have a lot of things planned that we can't talk about yet, but it's super exciting. So stay tuned. Make sure to follow us everywhere. And yeah, thanks for joining. It was really amazing, and it's great to have such a great team and such a great community. It really starts to pay off for us, and in that sense, that it feels very welcome. And the environment has been really pleasant so far. So just keep that up. Invite your friends as well if you want. And yeah, we speak in the next AMA, I guess.
Yes, we'll have this format every now and then, introducing and highlighting each topic in Fableborne. So definitely we'll see you guys again in the next Team AMA. All right, thanks everyone. Have
Thank you.
a nice weekend, Friday night, and speak to you soon. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Yay!